$600,000 just because all of a sudden they passed a new bill one day.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, depending on when this thing actually gets through the process. I mean, if it goes to another year, they could raise them again. The development charges are like 50% or more of the equity that you need to raise in order to do a purpose-built rental building, right? These development charges, and they just went up so much, it's just staggering. I mean, on my Forest Hill project alone, the development charges from one day to the next went up 42%, 600 something $1,000 just right there. You're talking 800 units. $600,000 just because all of a sudden they passed a new bill one day.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. And it's, I mean, depending on when this thing actually gets through the process, I mean, if it goes to another year, they could raise them again. Yeah. And I mean, imagine what that does. I mean, $600,000, who is that not a lot of money for, right? And so
the problem is with the Toronto development charges is that, you know, the money isn't even really used, you know, in the way that it's supposed to be used, right? Like you're supposed to be obviously building infrastructure and, you know, putting it back into the community and all that kind of stuff. But like, it's clear that they're not actually doing any of those things. And it's clear that
they're just doing it in a different country.
And it's not Toronto. City.
Plenty of infrastructure being
built. But they're raising property taxes and they're doing everything else in order for people to be able to pay for those same things. Right. Sure. And when they turn a parking lot, like your particular property in Forest Hill, let's talk about property taxes.
Yeah.
Property taxes right now on that property per year are $20,000 a year.
On all 10 combined?
Yeah. I don't know. What is it?
Way more than that.
$40,000 a year?
At least, yeah.
Okay. Let's say $50,000 a year, just for argument's sake. Now, when you create a certain amount of units with all the assessed values and everything else that you're going to have, you know, use like a 1% factor, right? You're talking about like $1 million, let's say, in property taxes. Just
so over here. Yeah, it's going to go crazy.
Went from $50,000 a year to $1 million a year in property taxes.
And I had to pay for the infrastructure for this thing, right?
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
For the next, 100 years, they're going to collect that much more because they developed. Why did the development charges need to be taken?
And on top of that, do you know what they force you to do now? So you got all this money that goes towards sewers and drainage and all this kind of stuff, right? Yeah. Now
as the developer pays that out of their pocket.
Yeah. And then like you're talking, there's all these fees, development fees and charges that should go towards infrastructure to handle the building and stuff like that. Right. So, but you can't discharge the water into the sewer system from like the runoff of the land and the roofs and everything. You can't put that into, like, you have to make the whole building watertight. During construction, you have to cart the water off the site. Like, you have to collect the water that accumulates and cart it off site. You can't dump it into their drains. It's like, it's such a craziness. It's like, what are you paying for with all this money? What does the developer actually get?
Think about it. Like, there's nobody who can answer that question and say, oh, but that money goes into these areas, which helps pay for all these things, because all those things are all future costs, which those property taxes would be paying for.
And right? Then some, like, isn't that what they're for? So what should happen is they should be like, based on the math here and based on the calculations of what we figure will bring in for eternity here, thanks to you, we should be paying you. We should give you this check. And there should be a ceremony
for creating,
and I should be able to go
more
like this
property tax revenue for us.
Thank you. I got units on the market.
Business model, right? Any other business model, that would be the reception that Darryl Frankfort got.
I should walk down the streets.
You created 20 times more revenue for us annually forever.
This guy should be revered. I should have my own police escorts to get downtown. They should let me have my own podcast. Yeah. No, but seriously, it's so fucking backwards. It's like everything. I mean, the whole world is backwards, right? When a baseball player can make $30 million a year and the guy cleaning the toilets at the stadium makes 14.25 an hour if they don't find ways to take it from them. Like everything's so fucked up. And now, so I see a lot of people. First of all, there's no way unemployment numbers are right because all of a sudden there's 3 million people here and a lot of them don't have jobs. So I don't know how they're tracking the numbers anymore. But with the slowdown in construction that is coming, okay, and I don't know if what numbers or what stats anybody else is looking at, but there's a huge slowdown coming. These numbers are going to get pretty big because if you have enough sites that have 300 cranes and now nobody is launching anything and nobody is starting anything, like what's going to happen when all these people need to work somewhere? Like that's a lot of people. A lot of people. All of a sudden 10 projects finish, right? How many people are working on those 10 projects? If you think about like how many people are actually working on these things, and then there's the people in the office, and then there's the lawyers, and then there's the planners, and it's like offshoots and offshoots and offshoots and offshoots. Have you seen like, no, you probably haven't, but like lumber prices are cratering, and that is a huge indicator of what is coming down the pipe, right? Because lumber is a huge leading indicator, I think, right? Because when it's in high demand, it means things are happening, right?
Yeah, yeah. Look when it skyrocketed.
And it's gone.
So I think RBC was projecting that housing starts would start to rise by 2025. Right. So I think those type of things are out there that people are going to be starting to put shovels in the ground again. So again, I'm not
no one's selling.
Fully
How
convinced,
they put a shovel in the
I'm
ground?
not fully convinced that they're going to stop building. I believe purpose-built renters. There's so much money out there. There's so much money out there. People don't understand the level of wealth that these corporations have, and that when opportunities like that present themselves in places like Canada, people step in and they take advantage of them, and they put the money up in order to be able to make money, and they will create opportunities. Even in the Great Depression, there were people who were developing their businesses and their models because of they were taking advantage of the circumstances. So we're going to have that same type of scenario here. The average person for the next little while is royally screwed. That is one thing that I can promise everybody right now. But I'm talking to people. China just had like 40 banks close, and that people are lining up outside because they got bankrupt banks going on over there. People in the States now, the economy isn't doing as well. I know the numbers are still coming in that the economy's hot, but the inventory is piling up. I was talking to someone in Florida. I was talking
Florida's
to someone
a mess.
Listings are piling up down there.
Sure.
Their market's starting to, similar become what ours is. They're just a little bit behind.
Sure.
Right. So the whole world has got these issues right now where people are struggling and that people are really going to be feeling the pain of a global recession. It's just the governments they hate that word. So they do everything they can to make it look like we're not in a growth. They just know what that means. They know that money dries up. As soon as the recession word comes out, all of a sudden money just dries up and it just makes everything worse. And then everybody complains and they freeze and we have bigger issues. So they're trying to really massage this to be able to get people to feel like our economy is not doing so bad. Right. And obviously immigration numbers are just one small part to that. Hey guys, thanks for watching our clips channel. Why don't you go and check out some more clips? We got lots of other good content somewhere over here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Boom.
That was good.
That was good. I like that. That was good.